I can make myself better and more useful. Okay. So essentially, my story starts from about the 5th month into my job in Bajaj Auto. I was not really enjoying doing the typical Excel, PPT, management stuff. And I met one of my college friends from engineering days who was working in a fairly good position in Airtel. This is in November 2010, and 3G was about to be launched in March or April 2011. And my friend who was working in VAS in Airtel said that, hey, 3G is going to come up, is going to throw up a lot of new opportunities. I'm also not enjoying my job too much. Why don't we come together and do something? And this thing just got stuck into my head that yes, I want to do something. And just before that very tiny window where your parents really get on your back to get married, that window was closing really fast, and I had to do something before that, because then it becomes really tough for people who have tried to get married and start up. So I thought, yeah, just let me give it a shot and try it out for a year or so. If it doesn't work out, fine, I have a good degree to fall back on. So with that, I started planning, and I said, okay, fine, let me figure something out. So at that time, we started thinking, what do we do? That time we came up with this idea of location-based video ads, because they required a 3G network, and we thought that we could really, this could be a killer service for something like malls, etc., where you go in and you get video ads of the mall. There is higher engagement, and it could be followed by coupons, etc. And on paper it looked like an absolutely fantastic idea. But before starting off, I had already made my first mistake. I had not selected my co-founder very wisely. My friend at that point of time already had a house loan, and he was paying off his EMIs. He was about to get married in Jan 2011, which was almost in hindsight a recipe for disaster. Just while starting, if you get married. And the worst part is, his wife was not, would-be wife was not completely on board with him starting up. So that was the first absolute mistake, and that was the first learning I got just 2 or 3 months after starting up, that if you and your co-founder are not aligned completely with respect to how the finances of the company are going to work, whether you can sustain, if you have different sustaining powers, then it's going to cause a lot of tension, and it's not going to work out in the long run. So that was the first mistake I made, not doing that due diligence and not having a very long and heart-to-heart chat with my co-founder, whether he can go through the rough and tumbles of entrepreneurship the way I was willing to do. So that was the very first mistake that I made. Any which ways we started, then that was the exciting period with nothing but a concept note. We did not have any application, we did not have any demo. Just with a concept note, we said, okay, fine, let's do a VAS, value added service. Let's do a location-based ad with the telecom operator. We would split the revenues that we get from advertisement with the operator, and the operator would get us a huge customer base. We would get the malls and the merchants on board, and on paper looked like the most brilliant idea in the world. And like most people with brilliant ideas, I said, if I share it, I'm screwed. And I said, I'm not going to talk to anybody about this. Let me just go into stealth mode. And this word stealth mode is a very bad term. Please do not ever fall for it. There is nothing called as stealth mode, because if you start and it works well, you can't stop competition. And in today's time, for a tech-enabled business, the early mover advantage is very slim. So if people can come after you and execute better, then you are any which ways doomed. So might as well go, talk to a lot of people, get their feedback, try and look at it from their perspective. And had I done that, I would have seen few of the glaring mistakes that I was about to commit. I did not do that, and that was my second mistake. Did not do any networking, did not talk to anybody about my ideas, did not seek mentorship. So another thing that I've realized over a course of time is a lot of successful people are willing to give you time, are willing to give you some guidance. if they see you are genuinely going to use their advice and try it out. If you just go and take free advice, have chai, coffee with them and have biscuits and come back and do your job, then it's not going to work. But if you sincerely, if you are sincere about entrepreneurship, there are lots of people more than willing to help you with connections, with helping you raise funds, with all kinds of things. So not networking was my second biggest mistake. But still, the early part was still the honeymoon period. I took my concept note and just one day decided to walk into MTNL's office, and I just said that I want to meet the DGM of MTNL. And somehow later I realized all government employees are free all the time. So he just gave me an appointment, said, okay, come in. I just showed him the concept note and he showed him that how it was supposed to work, painted a vivid picture of how this is going to change MTNL's fortunes, because their vast revenues were declining, and I thought this could be a real game changer for them, because at that point of time MTNL was the only one. MTNL had a 1-year head start over all other operators in 3G services. So they were the only one with 3G, and I said, if we move fast, the first 2-3 months before all other operators come out, roll it out, we can start off and you could be the only one with this service. So well, things went fairly quickly by government standards, and by April, so we had started this. I visited MTNL for the first time in February 2011, and on 4th of April 2011 I had signed a contract with MTNL to launch this service. So what does a startup feel? Yeah, I have acquired one of the Navratna companies as my first customers. Up to boss set hai. Now it's just a matter of rolling it out, going and telling Airtel, showing everybody case studies of how we are changing MTNL's fortune, and all operators will come on board, and fantastic, we are on our way, no problems. Third mistake, never work with government companies. Okay, so because you never know what kind of mess you are getting into, and whatever experience I have had, if there are some people who have been associated with government companies, please pardon me, but it's a very, I would say it's a very opaque world. There is no transparency. So essentially I'll tell you what happened. Ours was a location based service. So to give a customer a relevant ad, serve a customer a relevant ad, the biggest parameter that we wanted to know is location. MTNL had a location based server installed 2 years back by a very reputed MNC called Alcatel-Lucent. They had put a server in, and we obviously did not have any reason to believe that there would be any problem. It is only 6 months into the failure to even get the service off the ground that we realized that the Alcatel-Lucent server had never worked for 1 day since the day of its installation, and nobody in MTNL had bothered to do anything about it. So the location based server did not give the location. So our service was doomed to fail from day one. It's just that the contract was signed, everything was done, and we were not told that this was a problem. Worst, MTNL had taken 2 lakh rupees from us to ensure that the service gets launched in 3 months. So essentially what happens is, this is the funny part, and this is funny part partly of the government and partly of mobile VAS in general, that the vendor, if they are small, they have to put up a commitment fee that we will do this, we will not shut shop and we will not vanish, because making an MTNL executive sign is apparently trouble enough to take 2 lakh rupees from us. So we had to put that up, and wrestling that money back from MTNL because the service did not work because of MTNL's fault took us 1 year. So this is where I say that the processes are not clear, there is no transparency, nobody told us that there was a problem. We had to actually fight to prove that there was a problem, and I would come to that in a while. Don't want to break the sequence. So this happens in April, I'm on top of the world and like, okay fine, let's get this started. And immediately I commit my fourth mistake, is outsourcing the development of my application. Now